Good afternoon, everybody. And I know that you had a scrumptious lunch. And it's no time to sleep, hey? You're going to be wide awake now. Because after a meal, everybody just wants to nod off. And I'm quite sure that Katarzyna is going to be like so illuminating. And I must say that in terms of Professor Katarzyna Potyrala, her presentation is on digital literacy in the light of the pedagogy of change. I think when we look at our higher education institutions and within our schooling sectors, that word change is so significant because we cannot be constant in a world that is changing so fast. So what are our approaches to this particular change? And I'm not being specific about it. I think in a way, Katarzyna will actually take us through that. And please listen carefully and have questions for the end. You heard, Paolo?
Okay.
Thank you so much. Please go ahead. And my handsome Boris gave me the stage. Next one. No, not you next one. Hey, no. Okay. Okay, thank you.
You talk enough. It's not necessary to add anything.
Thank you, Boris. Okay, thank you. Your progress. Thank you.
Okay, so for the beginning, thank you very much to the organizers for invitation and for all the organizational support. And it's a great pleasure and of course honor for me to be a member of such a nice community. And I'm truly grateful for the opportunity to participate in this inspiring conference and also to meet so many friends all over the world. So thank you, Vincentas, Professor Lamanauskas, for invitation and for your support as usually. So I hope, I thank you very much because of the past, and I hope that also in advance on the future. So thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, today I would like to present a topic that is highly relevant to this time in our rapidly changing world. It means digital literacy in the light of the pedagogy of change. As Angela mentioned, as we know, the last decades have brought about profound technological and cultural and global, altogether global transformation. And these changes not only impact our daily lives, but fundamentally influence the field of education as well. So in the beginning, it's a very complex subject, so I would like to start from some theoretical and conceptual framework. So let me begin by outlining the theoretical framework. At the beginning, education today faces rapid technological, cultural, global transformation, which call for a fundamental shift in how we understand teaching and learning. So instead of traditional rigid models, we now need dynamic approaches that promote adaptability, creativity, and critical reflection. And of course, all of these approaches will be developed in the next slides. Modern educational theories emphasize the active role of the learner, the importance of lifelong learning, and the integration of digital competences across all educational contexts. So digital literacy, of course, is rooted in a way in different models and key competences. And of course, social change is also this fact connected with technological, cultural, and global transformation, and some new paradigm shifts in education, and the notion which is developed by me and also in a way is a kind of doctrine which I want to develop is pedagogy of change. And of course, everything will be explained by me. And conceptual framework is connected with different specific shifts, but also the change in communities, the change in society, and the change is important not only on macro scale, but also in meso and micro scale. So, of course, when we said about micro scale, it's connected with everybody, with individual, and with our approach to everything, to life. And meso scale is connected with institutions, and macro scale with the community, with society, and of course in global scale. But of course, these educational strategies and methods and pedagogical innovation are connected with different models, with different theories, which are still discussed, of course, and we want to change something in our practice. And of course, theory is only a paradigm, not only, but this background is very important. But this background, of course, is a basis for our thinking about the practice, because practice without theory is nothing for the researcher, for the scientist, also for teacher. This reflection will be grounded in this also theoretical background. And of course, I will try to show some kind of revision of pedagogical theory in relation to digital literacy. So, what is digital literacy? Of course, we have some definitions, and in the past it mainly referred to a comprehensive set of skills, knowledge, and attitudes required for the effective, critical, and responsible use of digital tools. In fact, in this definition, tools are key, but from 2004, digital literacy goes beyond technical competence, and it includes cognitive, creative, social, and ethical dimensions, whatever it means, and in the past, in special. So we have also widely recognized DICCOM framework, and it identifies key areas of digital literacy, such as information literacy, communication, collaboration literacy, and digital content creation literacy, and safety literacy, problem-solving literacy. From years, we have some change in the thinking about the digital competences, digital literacy in a way, and here you have some examples of my articles connected with digital literacy. So from different perspectives, of course, because first one is connected with competences of teachers, and second one also competences of teachers, but in the perspective because of their cooperation with elder adults. So another perspective, and this one, digital literacy was measured using knowledge and competition, knowledge competition and competences test, and some diagnostic survey. So it was qualitative, not quantitative research, but in this second one, it was more qualitative research. So, of course, digital literacy is very important from different points of view, more often because of the modern alphabetism, because literacy means alphabetism, and we have some digital culture. It's one of the most important cultures next to mass culture, also popular culture, global culture. So cultural and digital illiteracy today means lack of education in a way. So literacy is a kind of alphabetism, and it's some basic for the next steps in creative or critical thinking, etc. And because of this perspective, we can also quote some reflection, some view of the Brunner from 2006, that education should be seen as helping young people, so not only young, but in general people in our world, to use the tools to create meanings and construct reality in order to better adapt to the modern world. So what about social change? So of course social change is also a kind of paradigm, because it's a lot of theories connected with social change. And also in this social change there is school transformation also, and some paradigm shifts. As I mentioned, it is from teacher to learner, so education more learner-centered, and for example from cognition to metacognition, and from individual work to collaborative work, and also we should think about these soft competences more than tough competences. So these 4 key recommended by Jeremy Lamry in 2019, not key in Polish is key, but in English 4C, creative, it's cooperative, it's collaborative, and critical thinking. Yes, so 4C. So of course, to understand the significance of digital literacy today, we must look at the broader context of the social change, and of course this social change involves shifts in the structure and functions of society, its boundaries and its environment. And our Polish famous sociologist Piotr Sztompka in 2021 notes these transformations are often rapid, multidimensional, bring long-lasting effects to various domains, including education. School must therefore adapt to new realities and expectations. But education is rather not immune to these changes, so it's very slow, it's very slowly, and teachers and also didactics aids and also some procedures connected with the change of maybe approach to testing, to assessment, and also to knowledge achievement by students is changed very slow, but it should be more rapid, because our generation, as we know, is changed, and we know that our students probably will be in very quickly in generation Alpha. Now we have this from Z generation. So I have a list the new needs of these new generations, and it's constant connectivity, because this generation have grown up surrounded by digital technology, social media, and instant access to information. Second one, visual and interactive learning. They prefer dynamic visual content, multimedia, and gamified educational experiences. Personalization is very important, because now is a vast discussion about AI as a tool of personalization of education. So probably we will have more time because of AI because of individual approach to everybody, to every student with special needs, for example. So the next is collaboration and global perspective. So they value teamwork, peer learning, opportunities to connect with people from different cultures. The next need is immediate feedback and flexibility. So students have very speedy feedback from the AI, from in general IT tools, but not too speedy feedback from teachers in school. So they have the feedback after some evaluation, for example, after 2-3 weeks, not now after some task. But a new need is some kind of very speedy, very quick feedback and flexibility. So quick responses, adaptive learning paths, flexibility in choosing how, when, where to learn are crucial. And also digital well-being and balance. There is an increased need to address issues such as digital overload, online safety, mental health. And the last, maybe not last, but on this list is creativity and self-expression. So both generations, means Generation Z and Alpha generation, seek opportunities for creative expression and want to be active contributors, not just consumers in the digital world. So of course, for educators, for teachers, for some policy makers, recognizing, addressing these needs is essential for effective teaching and for preparing. For effective teaching and for preparing students to thrive in a rapidly changing society. It should be also taken into account, but what does it mean, pedagogy of change? I said about it that pedagogy of change is in a way my term, but because it is an educational approach that focuses on guiding students not only to acquiring knowledge, but also to construct their own understanding and attitudes, but it's not in this constructivistic approach directly, but in a way, of course, it is some constructivistic, but rather more progressive, because it's more progressive models adapted in a way doctrine of pedagogy of change. So it recognizes the impact of political, cultural, scientific information from the modern to the postmodern world on educational theory and practice. Okay, so now we can change this one. So of course, why the pedagogy of change is important? First one, it encourages paradigm shifts in education and responds to social change, of course, but also change is viewed as an opportunity for growth and innovation, not a threat. And of course, pedagogy of change emphasizes openness, creativity, reflection, critical thinking, and student autonomy. And the change in this context means, in a way, changing pedagogy. So changing pedagogy changes everything. So this adoption and implementation of this modified pedagogy begins with critical reflections related to teaching and learning, and the implementation of the pedagogy of change begins with personal experience and the need to change for the better, of course, in the world, in the micro, meso, and macro dimensions. Of course, the best recommendation for micro change, the change of the micro level, is some words of Mahatma Gandhi, that we ourselves must become the change we aspire to in the world. And of course, I said about the change at the meso and micro level, and at this macro level, the change is defined as the difference between the state of system at a certain point in time and its state after a certain period of time. So what about this change? So of course we know in pedagogy and information sciences, this kind of development of the approaches, of the theoretical approach to education, we know that in 30s and 50s of 20th century was very progressive Shannon's theory, because he had some theoretical background for transfer of knowledge, and of course it was connected with the first computer experiences, and also in education was some which was some domination of this normative paradigm. It means positivistic paradigm, and the background of this approach was behavioristic theory. And of course we had, I don't know what different countries, but I know that in USA it was in 50s of 20th century, but of course in Poland it was in 70s. So for example, it was Skinner's programming teaching, and in general programming teaching, and first very complex, very big computers in teaching. And in the opposite pole we have constructivism, and now for a big public is sometimes the best, I don't know, because every teacher wants to be constructivist as a teacher, and everyone says about him or herself, I am constructivist in my classes, but what does it mean? Even if they organize some kind of activities of students, but it's very often also constructivistic, also behavioristic approach, because of some instructional approach to education. So if you have instruction, it means that you have some in your plan, some achievements of students. So it's a results which are planned. So it means that is the stimulus, and of course the reaction. So it's also some reinforcement, because it's good or bad grade in this case. So it's a positive or negative reinforcement. So even if you have instruction and it's some activity of your students, it is not important, because this is not changed. Anything is changed, because it's still in this normative, in this positivistic paradigm. So of course constructivism in nature has a lot of very good assumptions, but of course they are a kind of assumptions, but to realization is sometimes very long way. So we know also that in this constructivistic way of Piaget was very probably even without some environmental influence on the learner. Only in Vygotsky or Brunner approaches we have some, so environment is taken into account in their practice. So it's a lot of differences between these schools of constructivism, and between constructivism and between constructivism and behaviorism. We have cognitivism, and we have active thinking, and also some teaching programs, so computer-based teaching and microprocessors, etc. But in general, cognitivism means knowledge processing, information processing to knowledge. So it's between in a kind, but it's of course nothing wrong. It's a kind of theory. So I must remind it because it is connected with my thoughts about this change, about digital literacy. So this behaviorism is stimulus and response and reinforcement. So in general, learning is connected with behavior change. In constructivism, it is some comparison analysis of these two approaches. We have more discussion and student work in a way independently in this, of course, model of constructivism, not in practice of constructivism, because between model is something ideal, is something doesn't exist. We have a lot of different models, mathematical, logical, and of course also, for example, model of tsunami, some kind of simulation, etc. But it doesn't exist in real life. So maybe because of it, this constructivism as a model of education is completely different than practice. But of course, in this at this slide we have some kinds of models in this approach. So some differences between this approach, and also social cognitive theory. It is closer to cognitivism. It is closer to environmental factors. It's closer to situational learning. It's also closer to even to some theory of adults learning. It is transformative learning theory by Jack Zero. So we can say it's not only change in school, it is in general change in lifelong learning. So of course behavioral factors and cognitive factors are also in this model included. But the next one is connected with my approach to pedagogy of change and new digital literacy in connection with this approach. So here you have two books, the covers of two books. It's one book is by John Medina, Brain Rules, and second one is by André Jordan, Apprendre parler. It means learning by mistakes. Yes, so okay. And in this first page of this book, John Medina said, we can find this sentence there. If I were to create something that completely contradicts the needs of the brain during learning, I would create something like a classroom. So we should compare this model of classroom also with our teaching and organization of our classes, also remotely. So it will be continued at the next slides. Second important is the organization of our observation of our students, because in the past we had a big group of students which observed our for students, university students, for example, during some classes on didactics, and they observe our students, for example, in primary or secondary school, and sometimes a group of these university students was bigger than a group of students, and everybody observed what are the activity of students, or is the activity of teacher. And now this new approach is connected with our interests to every student. So we are interested in him or her way of thinking, way of learning. So everybody is under our observation, but in this condition that we are rather not face-to-face the student as in the past, because it's his area of learning, his area of activity, his own, connected with his own needs also, and everybody is different, and not everybody likes to be observed, etc. So it's some kind of change. And also the second is connected with student's concept. So student has his or her own concept, and it's not good, but nobody can change it. So teacher, for example, can change this concept. So what we can do as teachers? In general, nothing, because everybody learns in his own way, and he must change his concept, because only when we change our concept, it means we learn. So learning is changing a concept. A concept. So what we can do as teachers, not only in virtual area, in every area and every environment. So we can organize some conditions, and we can use different methods, different strategies, not at every lesson the same. We can use different kind of formalism, for example, some schemes or tables or didactic aids, because maybe will be this situation that one student will change his or her concept and this yes, this specific, and oh yeah, I know, I understand it, and it is this moment when he or he learns. So when he change concept, so we can only prepare something for him, go with him to the museum, to the theater, maybe to sing, maybe to listen something, or give him some tools, as Łukasz, give him some tools, but everybody needs another thing for this changing, because everybody has his or her completely different cognitive net. And sometimes we have, even if we are on the same level of education, our educational experiences are completely different. So when we are in the same age, for example, in the class, but our cognitive scheme is completely different, and our lack of our connection in this net is individually. So we also try to help our students to change something in this cognitive net. So also in this approach, the students' mistakes are very important, because these mistakes have some informative value, some formative value for teachers in the process of training. I don't want to use teaching because we have this in this paradigm shift. We'd rather use learning. So we have also some effects of learning, not effects of teaching. So educational goals, not teaching goals, and process of training, not process of teaching, because training is more active from the level of students. And also we should see at this from different perspective at this problem, And we know that we have some evolutionary approach to the process of learning, and evolution. But we also know that evolution promotes mediocrity, and we know examples of species that went extinct because they could not adapt, for example. So the condition for survival is adaptation to change. So it's a kind of some characteristic that adaptation is very important for our process of learning. Of course, this adaptation is also in Piaget, theory of Piaget, but we know that it's some kind of evolution theory included in this way of thinking. And technology, which is the generator of these changes, also forces changes in school institutions. And pandemic has shown that the rapid adaptation of teachers and schools to the emergency situation allowed them to survive and even indicate new opportunities. Okay, but it's also some special needs because everyone is completely different. We have completely different genetic code, and even if we have the same molecule, it's DNA, but we have different code and everyone has specific needs. So we should also, in pedagogy of change, take it into account. And at the end, but maybe very, very important, we look at this pyramid and understand who is the producer, who is the consumer, and we have different levels, first level and second level, and we know that both plants and animals have different adaptation to survive, but technology is called a modern predator. It's modern predator, and we are often afraid that artificial intelligence will replace humans. So we can say so much training, studies, competence improvement to achieve, for example, a better job. All this may turn out to be unnecessary because wherever we talk about hard competences related to knowledge, we can be replaced by AI. However, we can still win this evolutionary race if we strengthen soft skills. So it is this 4C. So communication, cooperation, creativity, critical thinking, and of course I mention about it because of digital literacy. So I'm still in this topic because it's something which should be more trained, more learn, more teach, even if during our classes. So, of course, we should, in a way, leaving the comfort zone of our current habits, mental habits and qualification, because I said learning is stepping out of our comfort zone. And of course, we can say also about the neurological point of view, because it's very, at this time, very popular, neurodidactics, for example. So this is another context, of course, but also connected with genetics and also connected with social, with environment, etc. But we have also some kind of iceberg. You know it because of the model of competences. It was first time used by Spencer's in 1993, and they show us that we know what is the iceberg. It is some visible part of this iceberg and some invisible. And in Spencer's model on competences, this invisible is motivation, is some also values and approach to our job, and even predispositions also, and this visible part is qualification. So something visible as diploma, certificates, but it is at top of this iceberg. And altogether, this visible and invisible part of the iceberg are competences. So now we can say that these individual actions undertake in the different digital situation is this digital literacy. But at the bottom of this pyramid is positive relation. It's also environment and creative support, and also social and emotional strategies. And only in this environment you can create some alphabetism. So this crucial, some key competence, which will be, of course, in a way confirmed by different diplomas and different certificates. So different kind of the literacy is, in our world, certificated by different certificates, some kind of micro-credential now, because it's new way of qualification is micro-credential. So maybe this one, for example, but even if we should create our students to lifelong learning in the future with some luggage of competences of literacy. So our process of teaching and learning, so educational process, in this time should be mainly focus on this relation between people, between students, between student and teacher, between teachers, and also we should adapt some new strategies, not only in this paradigm of positivistic normative, or even if this constructivistic paradigm, but mainly more humanistic approach, more interpretative, so more connected with the individual needs and this fact that we are different, each other is different, and digital literacy and other literacies also are only at top of this iceberg. So I don't know. I have 15 minutes. Okay. So creation of digital literacy must be rooted in this fact that learning is our cognitive and metacognitive activity, that learning is making mistake, that learning is exploring our own concept, that learning is adaptation to change, that learning is experimentation, and learning is leaving the comfort zone, and maybe the most important, that learning is part of everyday life and takes place through relationships with other people. So not only top of this iceberg, not only literacy as some starting point for the next, not. This literacy is a kind of final qualification which can be a starting point to be at the next level of education, from primary to secondary to university, etc. But we still adapt the old models to our practice. So, for example, during pandemic, we had remote learning. It was from sender to recipient, some stimulus and reaction. So one-way knowledge transmission. It's maybe more modern a participation, but participation is not the same as in interactivity. Interactivity is not participation. So even if you do something by these tools, it's not the same as participation. So for social media, we had a different declaration about participation, but it's only declaration. So it's only not participation in a way. You are active active and even interactive because you declare that you will, for example, a participant of the conference, but in fact you don't want to participate. So it's all your activity in declaration. So it's a kind of interactivity in this, for example, social media. And also we had some mobile learning models with some application, also online based and also social centric in a way. So we will see is what it works. And we had third, it was also mentioned on this scheme connected with behaviorism, connectivism, constructivism. It was this CSCL, it means computer supported cooperated learning. And now in different papers I very often review we have this computer support cooperative learning as a kind of something new, something better. Yes, it's a kind better because it's positive feedback loop model, but it's only double loop. It's only double loop. So in fact, in our education, we need more than double loop connected with the feedback. It should be still in feedback as a teacher, as a student, and teacher should be interested in the mistakes, and it is a source of information about also his or her works. So feedback allows you to identify the student's own learning strategies, so how he or she learns. So we have these four models which are more popular, and we can say that this one-way knowledge is frontal pedagogy, is behaviorism. Participation model is in a way connectivism, because it's model of processing knowledge or information. We have quasi-constructivist model as mobile learning model. We have quasi-social and quasi-constructivist model based mainly on multiple feedback loops. It's positive feedback loop model. It means a computer-supported collaborative learning model. So it's quasi, of course, but a lot of different limitation of the use. Of course, this one-way model mainly as demonstration, as PowerPoint presentation, for example. A participation, very popular platforms of education, but in a way it's not paradigm shift, because platforms as some algorithm connected with the modules, and at the end is the grade, is acceptation or not. So student must go to the end, and now is bravo, it's good or not good, you should go to the first module. So it's still the same, so behavioristic. And mobile learning model, so it's connected with some kind of applications, tools, and of course this problem solving is not real problem solving, because student should have his own or her problem. Because if I can say we will solve this kind of problem, but it's my problem, so I should solve. It's mine. So students don't have to be interested in solving my problems. So these problems generated by some mobile tools are the problems of somebody, not the person who used this application. And of course, we have this double loop, so I don't know if some comeback of this because it's not new, but maybe because of this double loop is now more popular. So this digital literacy in the pedagogy of change. So first one, what should be new in this approach to digital literacy? It's to learn. So I said, what does it mean to learn, of course. Second one, to think critically, so posing questions, so questioning in more general maybe, to be creative, to cooperate, and we should count also some situations which are close to this process of learning. So we are interested in this process of learning of our students, also during creation of digital literacy. So, for example, what does it mean, how to recognize that our students learn? So, for example, I am learning when I make links. I am learning if I trust me situation, mediator. I am learning if I'm concerned, challenge, question. I am learning if I confront others, reality, information. And I am learning if I mobilize my knowledge. So we have a lot of assertion parameters for learning, and now it's this new didactic environment in which we use these different IT tools and in which we create also different kinds of literacy, not only digital, but also digital literacy. And so, in a way, the final slide is connected with the final maybe conclusion that the more crucial is preparation for a lifelong change. Our students, so it is connected with adaptation, with resilience, with the need of continuous learning, and we have some difference between old approach to digital literacy and new approach to digital literacy. So some of them are very close to this paradigm shift from teacher-centered to learner-centered. But of course, for example, content creation, old approach is rather rare, limited to text or simple tasks, and in new approach we have co-creation and content sharing, for example, and also in old model of formation of this literacy. User, it means student or adults, are the passive consumers of technology, and now they should be active creators, participants, and responsible digital citizen member. And so it is in this conclusion included. So digital literacy is more than technical skills, and pedagogy of change invites openness, reflection, and growth. And digital literacy is both a tool and a goal for empowering learners in rapidly changing world. In the process of learning, learning is crucial. It's my books, so I have some maybe. First one is connected with synergies in Polish, so maybe not good for recommendation at this moment, but it's about synergy of new media and didactics and this evolutionary and some context of antinomies and different environmental contexts. And the second one is in open access to the internet, is about school transformation and social change, and also the new one is with co-authors, also in open access, the school and the teacher facing the challenges of the present and the future. And I would like to recommend my completely new book, because it will be published at the end of June. So now it's a final cut at this moment. It's Pedagogy of Change according to André Jourdan. André Jourdan is my tutor, my mentor, and I can also friend, but is dead 2 years ago. So it's a kind of very personal book, but I can say it's rather biographical approach, but professional biography mostly, and it's about micro level. It's in a way how man's destiny create his or her professional way, and it's about the changing of the world, not only because of education, but also of different activities we undertake, about all different meetings. So for example, today we also change the world, so it's maybe we will go and we will be the leaders in our environments, and we will transfer our experience from this conference to the next, to the more vast public. So our community is very important. So thank you, Vincentas, once again, that you undertake this effort for organizing it, because the meetings, the relation is basic, and it's not a top. It's the main thing what we can and we should do in our job. So to be in relation, to meet, to discuss, not discussion, it means that we are in different points of view, so it's good. But it's the most important in our life. It will be this micro change, but also we can some impact on the most vast public. So thank you again, and I wish you all the best on this way.
Thank you
Some
so much,
questions?
Professor. Yeah,
Yes.
some questions.
It's good time. It's one time.
There we go. We have a question.
Yes, thank you for the perfect presentation. I have two questions.
Okay.
First is, what is the policy of using mobile telephones in school in
Okay.
Poland? Do you know something?
Oh, in general, are not some legal
Legislation?
yes, legal policy, but of course the teachers recommend not to use during lessons mainly, but in general in school. But my opinion is important or not?
Yes, of course.
In my view, it's not good, because we should to learn to use different tools, and of course our time has different tools, and it's normal, and also AI is a tool for our time. So the school is an institution which should educate how to use, how to communicate, about also trust, but about the different safety problems, but in didactics, it should be included into didactics in general. So if we recommend some mobile application, so you should have in your pocket this mobile. So
The second question.
Actually, it was the second.
Make it short responses, short
Yes.
questions, short
So,
responses.
short. Okay, so it was my question, how you see the future of the digital technologies that we have in the future, facing that adolescents don't have fully developed prefrontal cortex, so they cannot make decisions when to stop use the telephone. So that's the question: how we will behave. We cannot say stop using your telephone. It's not possible. So what's the future
I
for
don't
digital?
worry about the future. And it depends of course, on the people. It depends on the community, on family, and as everything. So it's only a tool. It's not a panaceum, but also it's one of the tools, and maybe it should be used with using brain, and as every tool. So,
Okay, thank you.
so future,
Bright
don't
future.
worry, will be good.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
So I think we have all gone through a pedagogy of change. So let's have this pedagogy of change. All of us listen to this presentation, pick out one word, and then the next person must say another word. So let's see this. Yes, thank you.
Okay. Can I ask?
One
because-
word. Or you want to ask a question?
No, yes, because you
No,
said
Boris, I said pick a question,
you must
Boris.
cooperating.
Cooperating. Do that.
Okay, let's continue when the colleagues start. What's the future? You said that you don't worry about the future, but what is the future? Is future today or it's not?
Of course, the future is today.
Yeah, because
Yes,
you know,
yes, but
past
of
is-
course we
past is-
should
Past is
predict
just
some,
yesterday.
some
You
future.
said it is past.
We should predict
Okay,
some
and,
future. Yeah.
you talking about literacy, digital literacy, how is this connected with digital pedagogy? Because you are
yeah.
talking about education and about everything, but this is not so connected with literacy, but it's more
Yeah,
with the
it's
pedagogy,
connected.
and digital pedagogy is one of the
It's
pedagogy,
at this
let's
moment
say.
we have not digital pedagogy, we have medial pedagogy still. So it means it's about old medium and new media also. So not only new media in pedagogy, because every medium is good if it's good for achievement the goals connected with student learning. So not every tool is good. Maybe for one student, typical book will be better than the e-book. For the next one, photography, not digital but old photography will be very inspiring. But for maybe for another one, something else, another.
Okay.
Maybe I was looking for some
It's
different.
Okay,
complex.
you can
So
have-
it's very,
different side.
Have that conversation just now.
I
You're
think
not
so.
going to tea, you're not going to have a conversation. Metka has a question.
Yeah.
Metka?
I think in just this moment, because the majority of us is from Europe, we are writing, or we are parts of the team which are writing new curricula. We spoke to Martin yesterday. What do you think about curricula? We have to write them because the European Union is paying us right now to write new curricula. Does they make sense in the frame of your pedagogy, in the
Context of change.
Context of change.
My problem is not your problem.
Okay, but curricula are in a way something what is on the basis, what is basis for the
Basic
next. So
framework.
yes,
Basic framework.
basic framework. So it's basic frameworks and it's for average student. Curriculum is for every student, for everybody, not for good or very good students. Of course, in pedagogy we have not good and very good students. I know it, but it's for the student with this lower grade of education, and every teacher can decide if the class, if the students in this team should go further with using different tools, or should further with different contents or methods, strategies, or be at this basic level.
So what should be in
connected
the
with curriculum.
So what should be in the curriculum?
Yeah.
I think that's what Metka wants
So
to know.
it's
Basically,
it's
one sentence.
curriculum is only starting point.
Oh,
It's only
okay.
starting point. You can always do more.
But
So-
what should be in it? I think with regard to the digital literacy, and the pedagogy of change. And I think that's where the question is. It's an open question. And we, during this time, needs to think about how do we come to answer it. But not even answer it, but how do we go through the process of coming to an understanding of what it could be. What it could be. Because right now, look at all our ages. Look at the people we are teaching. And look at that big gap. Why don't we have all the millennials teaching the millennials? What's wrong with that? That's a question for another day. Anyway. I just got the elderly people like shaking their heads there. Can I say thank you so much on behalf of the organizers? It's for you, and thank you for your presentation and the pedagogy of change. Yes. Thank you, Katarzyna.
Thank you.